do not like it. I do not agree with it. Secret tips, so do not bullshit your essay. I'm gonna have a little heart-to-heart with y'all.
Count 1, 2, 3, and don't you stop the music, get into it, won't you dance with me? Find a place and lose it, you can do it, won't you dance with me? Move your downtown, we let it go, sunset high and our bodies low.
Hey y'all, what is up? It is Marissa, Nicole, and welcome back to my channel. Some of you may know me as my drifting desk, where I help you conquer college, and that's exactly what we're gonna do today with the college application process. In today's video, we're gonna be talking all about college applications. I'm gonna give you my tips and tricks on how to fill them out correctly, what to do with your application, basically how to apply to college. That's what we're gonna be talking about today, because it is that time of the year. A lot of early action or early decision deadlines are coming up, and if you're trying to apply general admission, that is okay. You have plenty of time. You should still probably be watching this video to know what to do when the time comes for you. Before we dive into the video, please consider subscribing down below if you want to see more college videos, college vlogs, basically anything to do with college. And also follow me on Instagram if you'd like to see some behind the scenes of all of my videos and vlogs on there. The application process can be hard, especially for a lot of new students, because I do work with admissions at Ohio State, and so I'm just going to be telling you guys kind of the things that I see working there, but also general things that you should know when you're filling out a college application. This by no means is any of those like secret tips. Like, there's really no secret to filling out an application. I'm not here to tell you that, but be on the lookout, because next week I'll be posting some videos on how to get into Ohio State. So if you're really interested in Ohio State, be on the lookout for those videos, but this one is just general application tips and tricks that I've learned from filling out my own applications to also working in admissions. So let's just dive right in. My first one may seem very obvious, but a lot of students don't do this, and I would 100% recommend that you check in with every school that you're interested in. Check with them to see when their deadline is, what application materials are needed, and anything else that you may need to know, whether they have an online application, a paper application, do they take the common application, the coalition application. There's so many things that every school basically does differently. You need to check with every school on their criteria, and you don't want to just assume that the way you're applying to Ohio State is the same way that University of Georgia is going to have you apply as well. And I would start doing that early, maybe even your junior year, because you want to know what you may need. Do you need an ACT? Do you need an SAT? Do you need both? What kind of GPA do you need? Do you need to work to that GPA? Like, there's so many things that you should be thinking of. So just check in with every school and see what kind of criteria they have for your application. My second tip is to also think about other things that you may be interested in or want or need out of that college that you're interested in. For example, Ohio State has our early action deadline and our general admission deadline. Both of them could potentially get you admitted depending on your application, but you have to apply by the early action deadline in order to even be considered for any kind of merit-based scholarships. So you need to know if there's schools out there that are like that. You do not want to miss any deadlines for other things that you may be interested in. If it's honors and scholars, if it's scholarships, if it's a certain program. Tip number 3 is probably obvious as well, but you would be surprised as to how many people are just like surprised when they figure out how much it costs to go to said school once they're admitted. I don't understand why people even apply to a school without knowing how much it could potentially cost them. Like, I wouldn't apply to a school that I couldn't afford. That's just me. Just make smart financial decisions as well as educational decisions. My fourth tip is to work hard on all parts of the application. Schools don't only look at your grades. They're gonna read your essay. So do not bullshit your essay. Work hard on your essay. Some schools even take that essay into consideration when awarding merit-based scholarships. Tip number 5 is something that I kind of just touched on, but it's not all about grades. You need to be a well-rounded person in order to go to college, kind of. It depends on what college. They're gonna be looking at a lot of other things of your application. So, did you have a job in high school? Were you in leadership positions in high school? Were you involved in high school? Did you do community service? Did you volunteer? Like, what were you involved on? What else do you have to show other than just a 4.0? So also highlight those things on the application. So when you're filling it out, you know that you were the president of the debate team. You need to somehow fit that in there, whether that's on the application, if it's somehow tied into your essay, letters of recommendation from your debate coach, something like that. Like, show them that you're more than just a 4.0. Tip number 6 depends on where you're going to school, but I'm just gonna kind of blanket say this, that the common application is so easy. After you pick what schools you want to go to, the common application kind of changes itself to what you need to fill out for each school, and then it just kind of sends it out. So you do not have to fill out 18 different applications if you're applying to 18 different schools. But you do have to make sure that that school accepts the common applications. So that would go back to our first tip, where you're calling in to make sure that they take that application before you spend the time filling it out and sending it to them. Some people don't know about tip number 7, and that's okay because some schools don't make it a requirement for the application, but you can still do this if they're allowing you to turn other things in that maybe aren't required see if you could do that. And I'm talking about letters of recommendation or written statements. And a personal statement is kind of whatever you want it to be. Whether that's something you want to shed light on for your college, like letting them know that you won this prestigious award that only 3 people in the nation won. If you need to explain why maybe your sophomore year grades were so bad because your father passed away and you were really struggling, a personal statement can come in handy for that, to just explain why maybe your GPA isn't as high as you would like it to be, but still check in with your college or university to make sure that they accept personal statements and letters of rec. Some schools do, but they just don't make it required. Some schools make it required, so figure that out. But if it's not required, I would still recommend doing it. I'm gonna have a little heart-to-heart with y'all for this next tip, tip number 8, because even if you don't think you're smart enough, apply anyway. Most colleges will look at more than just your grades or more than just that ACT score. So apply, like show them that you have so many other things to offer than just a 4.0 or maybe just a low ACT score. Apply anyway. You never know, and do not doubt yourself. Do not make that decision for them. I never thought I would get into Ohio State when I applied, but I just wanted to apply because I'm like, why not? That's a prestigious school, good name, I want to go. And most freshmen get accepted into Ohio State but to a branch campus, but I got accepted as a freshman into main campus. And I was so proud of myself, but I never thought that was gonna happen. And if I would have doubted myself and not applied, I don't know where I'd be right now. Now, some of you are probably thinking about my last tip saying, I don't know if I can apply to all these schools because it's expensive. And girl, guys, I hear you. Applying to schools is so expensive for no reason. I do not understand it. I do not like it. I do not agree with it. But tip number 9 would be to check with your guidance counselor if you're eligible, or check with the schools if you're eligible for an application fee waiver, because sometimes you can get that fee waived if you're eligible for that. Your guidance counselor would mostly know, but also check in with the schools to see if they maybe have a code or if they have an application fee waiver. Some schools will offer one if you go to a campus visit, so try to see what is out there, because you may not have to pay all those application fees, and that could help you out obviously so much because it's less money. Tip number 10 is one that I wish I could just shake into every person to do, is to just read the school's website and just read it thoroughly. Like, read every word on the page of the application site, the deadlines, what you need. I swear when people call in to ask questions, anything that they ask, I can literally Google, and it's right on our website of when this deadline is or what you need to submit, what kind of programs we have. Like, so many things I'm just like, it's right there, people. Tip number 11 is if you have not applied yet and you're wanting early action or early decision, you better start that application now, because most schools that deadline is November 1st, so you have a month. So if you're wanting to hit that deadline, you need to get going. Do not wait until the last second to do general admission or early action. Do not try to submit your application 2 days before the deadline and submit your materials, because it's not going to be in on time. Tip number 12 may be too late for some of you, because more than likely if you're watching this video, you're probably a senior, maybe a junior. But for all my like ahead of the game people, maybe middle schoolers or freshmen that are watching this, your freshman year counts. I don't know why some people think that colleges don't look at your freshman grades. Colleges get your entire transcript, like freshman to senior year. So they see all those grades. So you cannot just get all F's freshman year and then be like, they're not gonna look at it. It doesn't matter. Like, freshman year matters, y'all. I don't know who told you that. You should be trying hard all 4 years. For all my junior and seniors out there who are still watching this video, tip number 13 is just to tell you that your grades do matter, of course. They're not the only thing colleges look at, but they matter. But also the classes that you take matter. You know what I mean? Like, all A's in quote unquote easier classes versus maybe B's, maybe 1C in all AP College Credit Plus classes, those do hold different weights. So just keep that in mind. Try to challenge yourself. Schools want to see what you're taking, how you're taking them, how you're doing in them, of course, but it does matter if you're getting A's in underwater basket weaving versus an A in AP chemistry. Looking at my list, I probably should have said tip number 14 earlier, but we're getting to it now, so if you already like commented down below asking me this question, hopefully you're still watching this. Tip number 14 is just for me to tell you the differences of all these applications. So you have EA, which is early action, ED, which is early decision, and GA, which is general admission. Early action basically is a non-binding application deadline. So when you apply early action, it's just that you want your decision sooner. You maybe want to be eligible for certain scholarships or programs, etc., that schools have these regulations on or whatever, but it's non-binding. So if you get accepted, you can deny that offer and go somewhere else. Early decision usually is binding. So if you apply early decision to a school and you get accepted, you have to go there now. And so you'll have to withdraw applications from other universities once you know your early decision school. Of course, ask your schools just to make sure whether they're EA or ED, but that's the general definition between those two. Early action is non-binding, early decision is binding. General admission, on the other hand, is just general admission. So are you just applying to get in? Sweet, cool, general admission. There's nothing wrong with applying general admission versus early action or early decision. It basically is either you want to be binded and you want a for sure place to go to school if you're accepted, or you just want to know sooner, you want to know if you can get scholarships, you want to apply to a competitive program, or you're just applying to a program that isn't competitive and you just want admission. Know the deadlines and know what each of them qualify for, so that way you can make a better decision. Like, is it worth you to apply by November 1st for the early action, or you just want to be general admission? Like, that's totally fine. My last tip of today is probably the most important tip of today. So if you take anything away from this video, I hope it's this, and that is to confirm everything. You should be making that call at the beginning, asking all of their requirements, all of their deadlines, getting all the information you need on each school. But then as you're turning things in and you're submitting materials and your application's in and your application fee has been paid or waived, you should be calling them again to double check on all of that. There's so many people that would call in and say, hey, I just logged on to look at my application and I noticed that it was canceled. Like, why is it canceled? And we have to be like, well, we didn't get your ACT score in time, so your application's been canceled for about 2 months now. Like, I don't know why people don't check on those things and they just hope that it gets there. I don't know, to each their own, but you should probably call and check on that. That is all my tips for today. I'm hoping that they were helpful for you if you are about to start this application and college journey. I'm so excited for you. Please let me know down below what colleges you guys are thinking about applying to. I'm just so curious. If you liked today's video or you learned something new, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe down below if you'd like more college videos and college vlog content. You can also follow me on Instagram if you'd like some more behind the scenes pictures and stories and all that good stuff. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed today's video and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!
Down now we let it go. Sunset high